Hi, nice to meet you. Wherever in the world you are sat watching this online course right now, there's one thing that connects us across all borders. It's the internet, and none of us could live without it. The World Wide Web, as we know it, started in 1991. Because free information flows and social networks are very cool for a lot of people, internet access has steadily evolved over the past 25 years. Now we are moving towards 4 billion people in the whole world who can use the internet to connect with each other. While Western nations have a high internet penetration rate, above 73% of their population, the most rapid growth in the 21st century can be recognized in Africa, the Middle East, and in Latin America. The people there are hungry for the connections to the world populations. The internet means far more progress for those people than for most people living in Western countries. Here in Western Europe, a lot of old people are critical of it, seeing it as a force that will disrupt their way of life. And they don't like it very much. Maybe for entertainment purposes, it's okay. On the other side, we can see, especially in the Asian regions, the internet is one of the driving forces of economic and social evolution. Most people there use it as a logical extension of themselves while staying in touch with their loved ones. They are using the internet as a normal source for their living. This different approach to the internet has several causes, mostly historical and subcultural themes, but also politically and economically dependent. In the end, the resulting different regional and cultural usages, implementations and interpretations of the internet are influencing your personal point of view on a daily basis, and altogether forms your habitus toward the meaning of the internet for your personal life. For now, as you progress through this online course, I want you to recognize that most of you will have a far more modern attitude towards internet-based development than the average people in European countries, especially in Germany. Just to remind you about the angel from which discussions about the future of work are conducted here, and also your potential, because the future economy will need progressive digital people. Ever heard about Moore's Law? Moore's Law is named after Intel co-founder Gordon Moore. In 1965, he recognized that computer processing power is doubled nearly every 2 years due to technological progress. This law was based on an empirical observation, but worked as a self-fulfilling prophecy, because different industries had to work together to make this central dynamic possible for the so-called digital revolution. In recent years, there have been different discussions about whether technological progress is slowing down because the progression of the chips has nearly reached its end, or whether it's accelerating, as Ray Kurzweil, one of the founders of the Singularity University at NASA in Silicon Valley, asserts. Ray says, Moore's Law was the fifth, not the first, paradigm to bring exponential growth to the price performance of computing. While Moore's Law will come to an end in the early 2020s, three-dimensional computing will keep that exponential trend going for many more decades. This law he calls the law of accelerating returns. He wrote, in an evolutionary learning environment, that means a system that learns via trial and error over time, the rate of progress increases exponentially. The more advanced a system that improves through iterative learning becomes, the faster it can progress. So while Moore's Law speeded up the chips and therefore the technological developments, the law of accelerating returns can be recognized in nearly all evolutionary processes. People learn from their failures and are getting better all the time. While you may not recognize this law in our current political situations, the overall overall progress around the world seems to confirm the statement. Also, we face huge ecological and economical issues, and inequality between rich and poor is continually increasing. A lot of statistics tend to show us the world as a whole is going in a progressive direction. What do you think? What is your personal thinking about these graphs from Max Rosa of the University of Oxford? Please collect pros and cons and discuss these issues with other students in your neighborhood. What Ray and his colleagues at the Singularity University are trying to promote is a mindset based on this result. So the technological progress in the 21st century will be equivalent to what would require, in the linear view, on the order of 200 centuries. So the 21st century will see about 1,000 times greater technological change than its predecessor. And this, they think, should force us to think more in moonshot dimensions, to develop an exponential mindset, because technology will get so much better we can reach the moon in nearly every scientific dimension. They think and act, as is typical in Silicon Valley, as if they can solve nearly every evolutionary problem. Current developments seem to confirm this point of view. We have an acceleration in the development of small satellites and big balloons which will bring the internet to the whole world. We now have these huge 3D printers which print whole suburbs with family houses or villas. We have the decline in cost of the solar cell, so energy costs are falling below those of fossil fuels. We see electric autonomous cars appearing all over the world. We see the Hyperloop, which will transport us across the continent at nearly light speed. We see falling costs for identifying and therefore repairing genomes, and so fight most of our diseases. We see better small technologies to grow our own food, and so on and on. We are entering an age of abundance. That's the point of view at the Singularity University. And our whole economic thinking about scarce products should be overcome. That's a huge challenge for humanity, but maybe this will be our future. In Germany, a lot of people laugh at this visionary thinking. They call it technological determinism. Whatever you think about this great-minded thinking, that is the direction that some people, especially in Silicon Valley, see the world going in, and we witness the consequences nearly every day when using the internet. What this means is that around 2020, all of the world population will have an internet connection because of the exponential progress in mobile infrastructure, forced by some dynamic companies who want to make sure their internet-connected products will find consumers all around the world. So what is interesting to help us to understand the digital world as we know it and what it seems to mean for the future of work is the underlying thinking that has been established in the cultures that are deeply affected by these fast technological developments in the past. If you live in an area where technological progress is getting better and faster at least every other year, and these days it's mostly every year, you start thinking in a way that really anything is possible, that you can achieve everything you want to achieve as humankind. Based on this thinking, different industries and global companies have evolved that are configuring the future of the world and our work as well. In this rapidly changing context, we want to discuss what this means for new working and learning environments. See you later.